Jaleel Smith Riley is currently facing murder charges in Michigan for a terrible incident back in 2013. Here's what happened. Riley and two others approached a parked car in Norwood. Inside were Portia Brooks and her boyfriend, Aaron Martin. With a gun in hand, Riley forced Martin out of the car, robbed him of all his money, and then tragically ended Martin's life with a gunshot to the head. But the horror didn't stop there. Riley also shot at Brooks, who sadly passed away 3 days later. Martin survived, but suffered serious injuries. Before Riley's sentencing, Portia's family got a chance to speak. Portia's mom, Sharon Brooks, brought her daughter's ashes to court to show the deep pain Riley's actions caused. She bravely expressed how Riley had not only taken her daughter's life, but also shattered her own identity as a mother of 3. Portia's sister, Tia Marie Brooks, also spoke at the hearing with a lot of emotion. She passionately asked that Smith Riley be given the toughest punishment possible. After being shot in the head by Jaleel, Aaron also addressed the court. As if Smith Riley's crime wasn't shocking enough, his response to his sentence was even more dramatic. During the trial on August 11, 2021, Smith Riley initially pleaded guilty to aggravated murder and attempted murder. However, he later chose to withdraw his guilty plea against the advice of his attorneys. Before receiving his sentence, Julia appeared visibly distressed, offering an apology in court. It seemed to be a final attempt to show remorse. Additionally, Jaleel's attorney made a final effort to salvage the situation, likely aiming to maintain some dignity or respect for his client. Despite the tears and apologies, Judge Charles Kubicki, overseeing the case in Hamilton County Common Pleas Court, rejected Smith Riley's plea and handed him a life sentence without the chance of parole. The 23-year-old perpetrator, now behind bars, collapsed to the courtroom floor upon hearing the verdict. Additionally, Smith Riley received an extra 11 years for a related attempted murder charge. As egregious as Smith Riley's actions were, they can't be likened to the notorious case of T.J. Lane. T.J. Lane, an American convicted murderer, became infamous for a brutal crime he committed at Chardon High School in Ohio on February 27, 2012. The Ohio Police Department received numerous distress calls from teachers and students reporting an active shooter in the building. According to police reports, Lane entered the school and made his way to the cafeteria. It was there that he opened fire, resulting in the tragic deaths of 3 students and severe injuries to 3 others. While 6 people suffered physical harm at Lane's hands that day, the emotional pain inflicted on the Chardon High School community was immeasurable, affecting hundreds, if not thousands, who will carry it with them indefinitely. Lane's actions sent shockwaves through the community, leading to his swift apprehension and subsequent charges, including 3 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of attempted aggravated murder, and 1 count of felonious assault. Despite the gravity of his crimes, Lane showed no remorse during the trial and refused to cooperate with his attorneys. Instead, he appeared in court wearing a t-shirt with the word "killer" emblazoned on it, and even made obscene gestures towards the victims' families during the sentencing hearing. Lane's behavior throughout the proceedings was shocking and defiant. Lane's statement sparked outrage and disgust, not just among the victims' families, but also across the nation. Judge David Fury, presiding over the case, characterized Lane's behavior as heinous, unprovoked, and senseless, ultimately sentencing him to 3 life sentences in prison without parole. Remarkably, Lane showed no emotion when hearing his sentence. He remained cold and unapologetic. His demeanor led many to liken his behavior to that of a psychopath. However, not all convicts remained emotionless upon hearing their sentence, as demonstrated in the case of Ryan Stone. Ryan Stone's crime spree made headlines nationwide, involving acts of kidnapping and assault that were shockingly broadcasted live by helicopters. It all began when Stone hijacked a car with a 4-year-old boy inside, sparking a dangerous pursuit with police that lasted over an hour. Recklessly driving at speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, Stone endangered countless lives. He's seen overtaking innocent civilians on the highway, throwing them out of their cars before speeding off in the stolen vehicle. But that's not all. In a reckless maneuver, he exits the highway, opens his car door at full speed, then slams on the brakes just before crashing into another car at an intersection. Investigators believe this was an attempted carjacking. Stone also collided with several other vehicles during the chase, causing numerous injuries. At one point, he narrowly missed hitting a policeman laying stop sticks on the highway. Eventually, Stone crashed the stolen car and attempted to flee on foot, but was quickly apprehended by police. As if his actions weren't appalling enough, Stone was caught on tape boasting about his crimes to a friend who visited him in the cell. Ryan also believes he should be compensated for the viral car chase, as news channels used the footage. Stone faced 26 charges, including kidnapping, motor vehicle theft, assault, and eluding police. During his sentencing hearing, emotions ran high in court as many victims and their families spoke about the impact of his crimes. Some recounted physical injuries sustained in the crash, while others described the emotional trauma they endured. Stone also spoke at the hearing, shedding tears, expressing remorse, and apologizing to his victims. However, it's ironic that in one video, he's seen laughing and boasting about his crimes, while in another, he's crying and pleading for sympathy from the court, realizing the severity of his actions. Despite his apology, the judge remained unmoved, citing Stone's pattern of criminal behavior and the threat he posed to society. Stone received the maximum sentence possible, 160 years in prison without parole. He was in tears upon learning his fate, attributing his actions to drugs. While his remorse may be genuine, some convicts react differently to their sentences, as seen in the case of Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari. Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari, parents of 10-month-old Marianne Welch, are facing charges for first-degree murder in Michigan. Police reported that Marianne died of malnutrition and dehydration due to neglect on August 2, 2018, in Solon Township, Kent County, Michigan. Child Protective Services had been involved with the family since 2014, after THC was found in the system of their firstborn child. Marianne weighed only 8 pounds at the time of her death. Her parents refused to seek medical help, citing religious reasons and a distrust of the medical system. The family home was found to be unhygienic during the initial investigation, with evidence of vermin, insects, and old food. The doctor who performed the autopsy confirmed that Marianne was suffering from chronic malnutrition caused by the withholding of food and water. Seth's 911 call revealed the extent of neglect for their daughter. In court, the prosecutors emphasized just how neglectful Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari were toward their 10-month-old child. Initially charged with felony homicide murder in August 2018, the couple faced a harrowing legal battle. In June 2020, Seth Welch was convicted of first-degree murder and received a life sentence without parole in 2021. During the proceedings, Fusari testified that her husband was abusive and that she was not allowed to take Mary to the doctor. In November 2021, Fusari received her sentence, life without parole for first-degree murder, and an additional 15 to 30 years for first-degree child abuse. When the judge pronounced their life sentence, Seth's mouth dropped open in shock, and Fusari started crying. For many people, this couple got what they deserved. However, this wasn't the only instance where a convict received a sentence that felt like justice, such as in the case of Esteban Carpio. Esteban Carpio is an American murderer facing charges for a heinous crime in Rhode Island. In 2005, Carpio killed Detective Sergeant James L. Allen at a Providence police station. Carpio had been brought in for questioning regarding an incident involving an 85-year-old woman named Madeline Gatta, according to police reports. While the second detective left to get water, the situation escalated tragically. However, Carpio was recaptured a few minutes later after a struggle with the police, but the drama didn't end there. Due to the risky escape attempt and the struggle with the police, Carpio sustained injuries. When it came time for his sentencing, Carpio appeared in court wearing a mask designed to prevent him from spitting at or biting others. His face was red, bruised, and swollen. Upon seeing him, his family members screamed and accused the police of brutality. The family believed that authorities forced Carpio to wear the mask in an attempt to conceal the alleged brutal revenge beating they inflicted on him behind closed doors. In fact, Carpio's aunt went on live TV to make this accusation. However, Providence Police Chief Dean M. Esserman argued that Carpio's injuries occurred when he jumped from the third-floor interview room and resisted arrest. Subsequently, the FBI investigated the police, but it was concluded that they did not use excessive force. On June 27, 2006, a jury found Carpio guilty of the murder of Detective Allen and the stabbing of Madeline Gatta. Despite his plea of insanity, Carpio was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Initially, he showed little reaction to his sentence and remained unmoved. However, later, in an attempt to sway the jury, he expressed remorse and apologized for his actions. Carpio claimed he was suffering from mental illness at the time of the crime, but the court dismissed these claims. So here's some moments of 5 convicts who received life sentences in court. If you want more videos like this in the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like this video. Okay, that's it for today. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye.